Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Miss Phyllis Newbill. I'm the Outreach and Engagement Coordinator at the Center for Educational Networks and Impacts at Virginia Tech. We're so glad we're here today with Miss Bailey's kindergarten class from Auburn Elementary School. And presenting to them today, we've got Hannah and Thea, who are going to talk about how we clean water.
Hello, everybody. Hi, everyone. My name is Thea. I'm a student in geosciences, which means that I really like to look at rocks.
My name's Hannah. I am a PhD student, so I'm a student just like you guys, and I'm an engineer, and what I study is drinking water. So I look at the different kinds of things that can be in the water that comes out of your tap or the water that's in your water bottles, and I also try and make sure that everybody in the community at Virginia Tech and in the surrounding communities has drinking water at their house that they can drink to grow healthy and strong.
So today we're going to show you an activity that you can do that teaches you how we clean water. So we're going to end up making something like this. I'm going to try to hold it so you can see. So it has this is a water filter. It's going to have two different types of material that filter things. So we have gravel at the top, and we have sand in the middle, and then we have our clean water at the bottom. So we put in dirty water, and we have to wait a long time, and then clean water comes out. So the first thing we're going to do is we've taken a water bottle, and we've cut it in half. And now we're going to take two coffee filters. So we're going to cut this little circle out, and we have two layers here. And we're going to take the top of the water bottle and put it over like that. Thank you. And then we're going to get our rubber band and loop it around really tight so that it doesn't fall off. And then we're going to stick this cotton ball right on the inside here. And we're going to let it sit here like a little cup. And that way, when our water goes through, it's going to drain into the bottom here.
Next, we're going to add our first filter material that goes at the bottom of our filter. So this is a bag of sand. This is a 1/4 cup of sand right on top of our cotton ball.
Sand on top of a cotton ball. So you can see that. Here's our top with the sand and the cotton, and here's the base. So now we're going to do it again, and this time we're going to put in gravel. We're going to cut our water bottle in half. And now we're also going to cut the bottom off of this one. It's a little tricky, but I almost got it. Oh, there we go. And now we're going to stick this in here, just so we can make sure that it's tall enough that we can fit our other bottle in the top. So now we're going to cut our coffee filters into a circle one more time. And we're going to put them over the top again. And add our second cotton ball. So it's just like the first one, and it's going to sit here. And last, we have our gravel.
Little messy.
So now here's the full thing. We've got gravel on the top, sand in the middle, and the bottom is going to have our water. This water is really dirty. Do you want to drink this water? I don't want to drink that water. I think it's gross. We're going to pour it into our filter, and we're going to wait a few minutes and see what happens.
So, as you guys can see, we've got our dirty water that we put in the top, and it's draining from the gravel to the part with the sand, and then very, very slowly, it's collecting in the bottom of our bottle.
So one thing that's really cool is you can see how the water is still pretty dirty before it goes through the sand. It's kind of like a light gray color, but the water after it goes through the sand looks like normal clean water. It's really clean. So the sand does a lot of work, even though you can't see the little pieces of dirt that it gets out. And if you look at the water in the bottom, look at how much cleaner that is than it was earlier. It's a big difference. So even this little model of a filter can clean out a lot of water.
And the water that you guys drink on a regular basis at home or at school or in your water bottles, it's filtered not using this specific experiment that we did today, but something very similar to it on a really big scale to filter a lot of water at once so that your town and your community can have clean water to drink.
I don't know how really when the water was with the dirt and when you poured it into the gravel, I did not know how the gravel just took the dirt out of it.
That's a great question. She wants to know how, when we put the dirty water into the gravel, how the gravel is taking the dirt out. The gravel, right, we've all seen rocks before. So these little pieces of gravel have a really rough surface and all kinds of different pointy edges. And so when we put all of that gravel together, and then when we pour our dirty sample in, all of those little rough pieces of rocks and edges, they trap the dirt on top. So the dirt touches the rough surface of the rocks, and then that's how the dirt comes out of the water. So it's kind of like a sponge almost. If you look closely on the inside of this gravel, you can see that there's pieces of dirt that have come off the water and are sitting on those pieces of rocks. So that's how the gravel takes out the dirt.
That if the rocks have dust on them, the dust can get into the water and it can make it dirty again.
You are so right. Yes, thank you. That is a really, really important point. So the gravel on the rocks and the sand that we have, we need to make sure that it's clean before we put it in our filter. Because you're right, if the rocks are already dirty and there's dirty water coming in on top, they can't clean the water in the way that they're supposed to.
How do you get the dirty water?
How do you get the dirty water?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I'm glad you asked that. So we were making our dirty water by pouring some dirt into our clean water. But in the real world, there's lots of ways that water gets dirty. Have any of you ever seen a puddle, maybe in a parking lot, that looked like it was kind of rainbowy?
Oh, yeah.
So in the real world, anytime it rains, all of the things that you just mentioned and lots of other things that we can't even see end up in the water, and that's how it gets really dirty.
There's beach sand at the beach, so maybe that can clean water.
Yeah, definitely. And it's the same, that's a really good idea. And it's the same kind of point where at the beach, you have a bunch of teeny tiny pieces of sand all together, smushed together at the beach. So when the waves come and wash up on the shore, the water sinks into the sand, and anything that might have been floating in the water, like seaweed or shells, it gets stuck on the top of the sand, and the ocean water sinks down into the sand, just like our water in our filter drained down through the sand as well. So that's a really good point. And the beach is a great way of thinking of how sand helps clean water.
Okay, thank you.
I always been wondering how the water don't bring down sand with it.
So do you guys remember how we used pieces of coffee filter?
And the cotton balls?
And the cotton balls? And we stuffed the cotton balls and the pieces of the coffee filter on the bottom of the water bottle, right? Just like this. So there's our coffee filter, and we rubber banded it on so it wouldn't go anywhere, and then we put a cotton ball in So the water can easily drain through the cotton ball, right? Because it's just really silky smooth material. And then the water can easily drain through the coffee filter because that's how we make coffee in the morning, right? That's part of the design. It's just like paper. But the coffee filter and the cotton ball are not easy for the sand or the gravel to come through. So that's why we're not seeing any sand in our final water sample, is because any of the sand that wants to come through with the water is getting trapped by our coffee filter and our cotton ball.
Bailey, Miss Bailey, I think you, well, you're invited to my birthday party.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
It was really wonderful. Thank you so much, Hannah and Thea, and thank you, Miss Bailey's class. You all were wonderful. What great questions you have. And thank you, Miss Bailey, for your organizing. We just appreciate everyone so much, and we look forward to seeing all the fun things at the Science Festival on November 7th.
Say thank you and wave. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you all.